guys, here in a nutshell with me, Ina. Total, napakaikli lang nitong episode na ito bago natin puntahan yung main topic. Meron akong isi-share sa inyo, no? Tingnan nyo to. I was monitoring this committee meeting sa House of Commons. Of course, the Committee on Citizenship and Immigration. Tingnan nyo kung sino nandito, guys, oh. Eka, let me play it. Intro to, ha? Intro sa isang round.
This is for the second panel. As an individual, we have Mr. Lou Jansen Deng Zalan, immigration lawyer, who's joined us by video conference.
Aba! Si suking attorney Lou natin. Nakalain nyo. Well, this isn't the first time that he's been invited to speak as a resource person sa mga meeting ng Committee on Citizenship and Immigration. So he was invited again. Nakaka-proud naman, 'di ba? I'm so proud because sa dinami-dami na mga immigration professionals here in Canada, isa siya. Siyempre, hindi naman sobrang dami yan, ano? Isa siya sa mga kinukuha ng House of Commons to speak on issues pertaining to policy on immigration. O, di ba? Sige nga, tingnan nga natin ang kanyang performance. Performance? Hindi. He is speaking on the French category draws. Yan.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to the members of the committee. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to appear today for the members of the committee, and I'm appearing in my personal and professional capacity to contribute to your study of Canada's immigration system. My remarks today will focus on express entry, more specifically on category-based selection for Francophone candidates.
Oh, 'di ba? Oh. Hindi naman natin topic 'yan kaya hindi ko i-play ng buo, no. Pero alam nyo ba, nag-French pa siya. Okay? Tingnan nga natin makukuha yung French responses niya.
Of displacement, undermine confidence amongst applicants, employers, and provinces alike.
Ano, may auto daw ba, no? Pero nag-French din siya dun. Again, this was just a meeting earlier today, February 9, 2026. O, diba? Congrats, Attorney Lou. I'm so happy to see you being heard in that type of forum. Alright, punta na tayo sa topic natin. Meron pong updated guidelines for those na nag-a-apply ng Vulnerable Open Work Permit. In-update po ng IRCC ang kanilang guidelines sa mga officers na nag-a-assess ng mga applications na ito. So here it is. Alright? Feb 6, 2026 pala siya in-update. I will just read the portion na I think pinaka of interest sa ating viewers. So dito po sa bagong guidelines, may new section on the examples of situations that may not constitute abuse. Ibig sabihin, hindi qualified sa VOWP. Mas klaro na ngayon kung sino o ano yung mga sitwasyon kung saan hindi aaprubahan ang isang application for Vulnerable Open Work Permit. Examples lang to, no, na nabanggit at yun lang din ang ating babasahin. For those who might be unfamiliar, ang Vulnerable Open Work Permit po, binibigay po yan sa mga abused workers. Most of the time, for example, naka-closed work permit, yung mga may LAMIA-based na mga employer. Okay, tapos hindi sinusunod, for example, yung kontrata nila. That could be a form of abuse. Pinapatrabaho ng overtime, ng walang bayad. Or binibigyan ng ibang trabaho sa labas nung kumpanya, in another company. Tapos lalo na hindi binabayaran yung mga ganyan po. And of course, it also covers like sexual abuse, verbal abuse, yung mga ganyan. Pwede po, there's a chance that you could qualify for a Vulnerable Open Work Permit. Ngayon, puntahan natin yung bagong section dito sa guidelines pertaining to those who are not considered to be abused. Hence, hindi pwedeng bigyan ng Vulnerable Open Work Permit. Okay? Official website po ito ng IRCC. Okay? Yan. Punta tayo dito. Examples of situations that may not constitute abuse. Yung may dilaw po na highlight. Okay? Yan. Alright. Apat lang naman ang binanggit dito, guys. Kaya sabi ko sa inyo, napakaikli ng episode na ito. Examples of situations that may not constitute abuse. Generally, the following situations would not meet requirements for a vulnerable open work permit as they would not constitute abuse. However, stress natin, case-to-case basis po ito Officers should ensure to process each application on a case-by-case basis. First example na hindi qualified as hindi abuse. The TFW was laid off due to a lack of work or situation outside the employer's control. Halimbawa, na-lay off. Okay? Naputol midway. Hindi na natapos, halimbawa, yung 1-year contract, na-lay off kalagitnaan nun because of bankruptcy, business closures, and cutbacks. Where the layoff was conducted in a fair and non-abusive manner. Pag ganun po, hindi na po siya abuse. Pangalawa, termination of employment for cause. For example, ang binigay dito, the reason the employment was terminated is reasonable and non-abusive. So kung talagang may batayan para ikaw ay i-let go, syempre i-assess po yan ng IRCC. Pangalawa, ito na. Fraudulent job offers where the temporary foreign worker was aware that there was no job for them in Canada. Ito ang madalas nangyayari sa mga bumibili ng Lamia. Minsan po kasi, pag binibili mo lang yung Lamia o yung job offer, that is for you to secure a work permit. Pero, in many cases, marami pong dumarating dito, pero yung pala, wala naman talagang actual job. Okay? So, ang nangyayari, sa mata ng gobyerno, sila ay nagtatrabaho dun sa kung sino man nagbenta sa kanila ng job offer na yan, pero they are forced to find cash jobs, yung mga ganyan under-the-table jobs. Sabi dito, kapag alam ng TFW ang kanyang pinasok, hindi yun considered abuse kung i-report niya yung sitwasyon niya dito sa Canada. Okay? Ayan, no? For example, the temporary foreign worker paid for a job offer when they knew they would have to find other employment when they arrived in Canada because the job does not exist. Okay. At huli, hindi rin abuse kung ang vulnerable open work permit ay hinihingi as another means to extend one's stay in Canada and the temporary foreign worker is not experiencing abuse or at risk of abuse as described in another law. I think napag-usapan natin briefly to in an episode a while back. No? Wag nyo namang gawin yon, no? Bigla nyong aakusahan ang inyong employer na wala namang ginawa kundi maging mabait sa inyo. Sasabihin nyo sa IRCC na mag-a-apply ako ng VOWP kasi ganito, 1, 2, 3, 4. Accusations of abuse na hindi man pala totoo para lang makakuha ka ng vulnerable open work permit at para maka-extend ka ng iyong stay dito sa Canada. Okay, maawa naman kayo sa mga employer ninyo kung mababait naman po talaga sila, no? Siyempre guys, iimbestigahan din ng IRCC ang inyong mga aligasyon. Remember that. Okay? Kung mapatunayan nagsisinungaling din kayo, mali ninyo, yung employer ninyo ay merong talagang handang documentation na nagpapatunay na ikaw ay maganda namang tinrato. Baka mas mapahama ka pa at mapadali pa ang pag-alis mo sa Canada. Don't forget, okay? So in short, kung kayo po ay nagkukonsiderang mag-apply for a vulnerable open work permit, pumunta kayo dito. Libre lang to, no? Yung guidelines ng IRCC sa kung sino ang qualified mag-apply for VOWP. Ano ang nagko-constitute ng abuse sa mata ng Canadian immigration law? Okay. Another thing I want to point out just before we end this episode, yung usapin ng open work permit, guys, ha? O, tignan nyo dito. Naalala nyo, nagkaroon ng fake news last month. May lumabas na tatapusin na raw ng Canada ang mga open work permits. At least, in this part of the guidelines pertaining to open work permits sa mga family members or spouses ng vulnerable open work permit holders, nandito pa rin siya. It's still existing, okay? Ayan o, nandito pa rin siya. Open work permits under family members. Ayan. Family members who are currently in Canada are eligible to obtain an open work permit if the vulnerable worker has been issued a vulnerable open work permit. Okay. So clearly, at least in this case, no, meron pa talagang open work permit. Okay. This is another way just to stress na fake news po yun. The open work permit system, as of right now, is still existing. Okay? So, that is it. I told you, maikli lang ang ating episode. Puntahan nyo tong website na ito. It's free. Okay? And by the way, before I end this, no, alam ko meron po tayong mga viewers who are in this situation, in an abusive employer-employee relationship. Nag-send po sa akin ng mga advice. Guys, remember, I am not an immigration consultant. I am not an immigration lawyer. If you want me to help you address your situation, kung kayo ba ay considered vulnerable worker, na kung kayo ay qualified for a VOWP, you can send me an email, no, sa inyong situation. Tell me na gusto niyo maging anonymous, and then I will try. Okay, I will not guarantee anything. Tatry po nating i-consulta yung inyong sitwasyon sa mga suki nating immigration professionals to ask advice about what you can do. Okay? I will end this episode here. See you guys in the next one. Bye!